Surprise, surprise, we didn't know. We didn't know it was going to cost this much to own a house. We didn't know it was going to cost that much to fix the roof. We didn't know it was going to cost that much to fix all the plumbing problems. We didn't know, we didn't know. Now we wish we didn't buy the house. That's what you hear from apparently 82% of recent home buyers, according to Clever Real Estate. That was a mariachi that just went by. 82% of recent home buyers having some level of buyer's remorse, guys, is absolutely horrible. I mean, that's almost everybody, really. And a lot of these things probably could have been avoided, but one thing I want to focus on here for this video is the problems with different houses that people run into, and then they act all surprised, like saying we didn't know. Like, I don't know how many buyer's remorse videos I've made in the past on this channel, giving people a heads up, but I'm making another one here to give people another heads up. This is the breakdown. 28% of home buyers say they were shocked at the cost and time needed to maintain their property, which should not come as a surprise for anybody who's been watching my channel, because I've gone in depth on all of those topics in previous videos. So if you're somebody who watches my channel and you bought a house, you should be well aware of those things. But obviously not everybody watches my channel, and if you know somebody who is looking into buying a house, especially a first-time buyer, please send them this video to give them a heads up, so at least they know what they're getting themselves into if they want to buy a house. About 33% of people said they placed the blame on the seller for not being upfront about how much maintenance the home required. So here's the thing, guys, every house requires maintenance. You know, the level of maintenance required depends on the size of the property, the age of the property, how well it's been maintained in the past, where you live, how much time and effort you have to dedicate to the maintenance yourself versus paying someone else to do it. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but ultimately, anyone who thinks they're just gonna buy a house and walk in and sit around watching TV during the weekends, forget about it. People are gonna be working around the house constantly to keep things clean, to keep it manicured, to keep everything working. It takes a lot of effort. But the second most common reason home buyers said that they have buyer's remorse is because the home does not meet all of their needs. 24% of people say that. Now, here's the thing. If you are a first-time home buyer, it's normal for your home to not meet all of your needs. You would most likely need to compromise on something, especially under this environment where homes are more expensive than they've ever been before. You know, the prices are very high still in most areas. You need to make a sacrifice if you want to get into home ownership many times today. So if you think you're gonna have some sort of regrets for not checking off every single box for buying your house, then the reality is you're probably not ready to become a homeowner, and you're better off renting a place that does check all your boxes for now in order to have the amenities and the lifestyle that you're looking for. And if you're somebody that says, well, I just wanna have it all and own the house, then you better be ready to, number one, either pony up the dough and have the cash to be able to do something like that, or number two, be flexible on your location and open to moving somewhere where you can get everything that you want without compromising on the price. That's why I wanted to bring you guys to this regular neighborhood here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my video yesterday with Brandon. Came all the way up here to see him just for you guys. So hopefully a lot of you watched that video and enjoyed it. And now we're just walking around an average neighborhood in Charlotte. And here's the other problem with home buyers today. Their priorities are all mixed up, okay? A lot of them want to have a remodeled kitchen and bathrooms and, you know, nice, beautiful modern lighting and fixtures in the house. But things that are not at the top of a buyer's list are things like having a solid foundation, an updated electrical system, and updated plumbing. Things like that are at the bottom of the priority list, which are things that are actually going to cost you a lot of money to fix and change once you own the house. And that's going to be a big headache for you. Your house is going to be under construction for a while. And, you know, people just get fooled by the looks of things. You know, it looks like this house is nice, but underneath the surface, it's actually very old and outdated. That's the problem. Here we have a house for sale for $365,000, so no $1 million houses today, guys. But check this out. Back in 2018, you could buy this house for $185,000. So now they're selling it for 272% more. and their property tax bill is very fair at $2,300 a month, but you can bet that's probably going to go up for the new buyer, probably close to double that, but still within reason for most people. But this is what I caution people against, and I want people to look at, especially first-time home buyers, okay? When you look at a market like I'm in right now in Charlotte, in this particular zip code, this for sale inventory has grown 51% year over year, and the home value growth is falling flat, only 1.6% after all these years of big growth. So the growth in prices here is over, guys. In fact, it's going to come down because inventory is exploding, and here's the real problem. The overvalued percentage of homes here is 66% overvalued. The fair value for a home, according to ReVenture app, is only about $195,000, whereas these houses are trading right now for the low 300,000. So even though the low 300,000s is still affordable for a lot of people, this data suggests that prices here have a long way to fall, especially as inventory continues to pick up. And that's the biggest danger of being a buyer right now in this market. Not only is it so much cheaper to rent with less headaches, but you're also putting yourself at a massive financial risk if you're buying in a market like this one. And that's exactly how home flippers get away with just putting lipstick on a pig, essentially. You know, they buy this old, outdated house, and then they change a lot of the cosmetic stuff. They don't do any of the important work that needs to be done with the bones of the house, with the electrical and the plumbing and the roof and the inside of the walls, termite damage, things that can affect the overall structure and functionality of the entire home. They just make it going from looking ugly to looking pretty, and that's what sells houses. But that's because people are fooled by this and they don't know, and they end up with buyer's remorse. Here's the other thing, guys. A lot of people turn to their real estate agent to help them determine if the house is a good buy or not. And some real estate agents are unscrupulous. They will say, oh yeah, everything's great, you should buy this house. And they'll say that about every house that you look at, and they'll never point out anything wrong with the house or anything bad with the place. And one key sign that you have a good agent at your side when you're touring homes is if they point out problems that you didn't even notice and things that you need to be aware of. That can be a sign, number one, that you have a good real estate agent, but it can also help you figure out problems that you wouldn't have noticed on your own. Obviously, you always want to have an inspection done, but if you have, you know, an experienced agent that has an eye for stuff like this, that's somebody you really want to have in your corner. And if you need an agent, guys, I always have this available to you. It's a service for free. I can get you set up with a real estate agent all across all 50 states across the country, whether you're looking to buy or sell. It's completely free to you. And if you use my link, it helps the channel. It's always down in the description below at your convenience. One thing that might even help people when you're going to look for a house and buy a house is to have a checklist of things to look out for when you're shopping. And you know, some of the things you want to have on that checklist are the costs, the maintenance costs of the house, guys. That's one thing that most people never ask about. Even when I was selling real estate all these years, I don't even know if anybody ever even asked that before. You know, maybe occasionally you get somebody that asks, you know, what the water bill is or the electric bill or something. But I'd be asking everything. How much is it for the pool cleaning guy if there's a pool? How much is it for the electric? How much is it for the gas? How much is it for the insurance? You know, things that are ongoing expenses that house is going to require that you should know about before even making an offer. You also want to know how old are certain systems in the house, you know, like how old is the roof? How old is the HVAC system? How old is the plumbing and electrical? Because those are, once again, things that get overlooked by so many buyers because they're fooled by the lipstick on a pig. Another one to watch out for, which should be an obvious one and a big red flag for a lot of people, is the smell. If the house smells funny, then that can mean there's all sorts of different problems. It could mean problems with the plumbing. It could mean problems with the septic or sewer system. It can mean problems with rodents. You know, maybe there's dead mice and stuff laying around the house. Like, you don't know what it is, but that could mean trouble. So if the house smells funny, it's probably funny. Another thing that people should look at when you're looking at a house is, you know, what is the area like? You know, go visit the area during the day, during the weekend, at nighttime, and see, you know, if it's a place that you really want to live, because one neighborhood can look completely different during the day than at night if there's funny stuff going on over there. But the reality is, when 82% of recent home buyers have some level of buyer's remorse, guys, that is way too much in my opinion. Like almost no one, if people did it properly, almost no one should have buyer's remorse, because clearly you're jumping in to buy a house because it's something that you want to do or you feel like you need to do financially as the next step in your life. And for that many people to regret it in the end, it's because people are making too many mistakes. They're not paying enough attention. They're not hiring the right property inspectors. They don't have the right real estate agent by their side. And those things alone can make a big difference. You know, they're not having a contractor look at the house before purchasing it. Just simple things that anyone can really do, but people skip or neglect, and ends up costing them problems later down the road. But you know who doesn't have to deal with those type of problems? Renters, especially rich renters. In fact, you have a record amount of rich renters right now that are preferring to rent over buying a home. And here's the number one reason I think, but I'll get into this story. But if I was somebody making a lot of money and I'm renting, and I know that renting is saving me half of my monthly payment that I would be paying if I were to buy that same house, to me that's a no-brainer. Because if you're rich, usually you get there through financial intelligence. And with financial intelligence, you know you can use that extra money that you're saving each month on rent to invest. You know, you can invest it into the stock market. You can invest it into gold. You can invest it into a startup, a business, anything you desire, rather than just throw it away on the house. Because despite what a lot of people think, you know, making a house payment, even though it might be 40, 50, or 100% more than paying rent, all that money doesn't come back to you in the end, guys. Yes, some of it gets converted into equity, and you will realize that equity when you sell the house, but a lot of it is money wasted on taxes that you're never going to see again, money on maintenance on the house that you'll never see again, insurance costs that's gone forever. There's a lot of money that gets sucked away when you're a homeowner that you never get to recapture in the future. So they talked to this 31-year-old woman in Nashville for this story. She says it makes no sense to buy right now with how much the prices are and how much the down payments are. She lives in a one-bedroom apartment right now, and she said she loves it. And you know, some people don't need to have a house. Sometimes it's better to be minimalistic and just have a one-bedroom apartment and own less stuff. It makes it easier to go away on vacations on a whim, and more money to spend on vacations and less money to spend maintaining a household and less money to spend on buying stuff for the house all the time. So this can actually be a very cheap lifestyle compared to somebody that owns one of these houses like over here. But the real kicker for her to sign up for this lease was the 2 months free rent, guys. That is a deal of a lifetime right now. And this translates to her only paying $1,500 a month in rent with that 2 months for free. So go ahead and try to find a house in Nashville and pay only $1,500 a month for your house. I'm pretty willing to bet that if that happens, it's going to be in a pretty bad area. It isn't going to be in a nice building like this with vaulted ceilings, walk-in closet, and on-site amenities like gym, coffee shop, and stuff like that. And I've done some videos on this before in the past on some of the best places to look right now if you're a renter trying to get a really good deal, because there's so much new construction inventory being added to the rental market right now. It's causing the prices of rents to come down, guys, and in a meaningful way. When you're getting 2 months for free, that's a meaningful discount on rent. You can go to a city like Nashville or Salt Lake City, Utah, or Atlanta, Georgia, and get some amazing deals on a brand new apartment right now for rent. And it's going to cost you far less than buying a home in those areas will. Plus, a lot of these new complexes have a lot of creature comfort amenities. You know, they have gyms, they have pools, they have parking, they have coffee shops, they have lounges, they have community gathering areas, like a lot of things that people want to have. Not to mention, many of them have front desk people that can accept packages for you and hold your mail and just do stuff that you can't have happen when you live in a house. I'm not saying everybody should live in an apartment. I'm just saying if you're somebody who's trying to save money right now and doesn't want to have all the expenses and hassle of homeownership, it's worth looking into this. And you're not going to have any buyer's remorse. If you don't like the place you're living in, you just leave and rent somewhere else. And this is another reason why people that make a lot of money are deciding to rent right now, because it allows people to put aside more money either for investing and for doing things that are fun, just extracurricular stuff that is just nice for being a human, guys. Just a reward for working hard and living life, to take that trip or go out to the nice restaurant or whatever. Versus if you're, a homeowner right now paying 50 to 100% more than a renter, all that extra money is going towards maintaining the house, and so is all your spare time too. And listen, I'm not saying that people should rent forever. I'm a firm believer in home ownership. I think people should own their own home if it's something they want in life and the lifestyle matches what they're looking for. I think everybody in that position should become a homeowner, providing you can afford it. But if you're in a unique position right now where you can land a nice rental for half the price of buying a house in your area, you can milk this situation out for a while right now, and that'll help you save money actually to become a homeowner in the future. Because the prices of homes right now, guys, they're not going to keep climbing forever. It's already gotten so high that it's been coming down in a lot of areas, and the areas where it's not coming down, the gains have been slowing down dramatically. You're not seeing these massive appreciation numbers anywhere anymore because it's kind of already reached its limit, And just between 2020 and 2023, we've seen over 1.6 million new rental units hit the market just in that 3-year time span. And that's not even including all the ones that are still under development and will be hitting the market this year and into next year. Because we're still expecting another 1 million units to come online between now and 2025. So the supply of these rentals is just skyrocketing right now, which is helping bring down prices. And for somebody who's savvy with their cash, this can be a great opportunity right now. Some of the best places to move right now if you're looking for one of these deals are places like Houston, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Austin, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, Charlotte, where I'm at right now. I saw a bunch of new construction apartments going up driving in here. There's places you can go, guys. I mean, honestly, it's pretty nice here. I've never really been to North Carolina. I drove through once, but never really stopped in here and checked out the area. But I like it. It's very nice. Even this regular neighborhood here seems to be pretty low-key, but there's also some very nice fancy neighborhoods here as well. Way more amenities and way more upscale than you think. Not that I had any negative connotations about North Carolina previously, but I didn't really know much about this area. And the only things I knew that they had here before was the hog farms. So that's what I think of when I thought of North Carolina. Literally right now, 1/3 of all rentals that are listed on Zillow are offering some sort of concession for a renter to move in sooner than later. That's usually in the form of a free month's rent, something for free. Now, one thing to understand when it comes to these rental incentives is it's just like when you go to buy a house and they give you the rate buy down for the builders. They don't really want to lower the price, they give you the rate buy down instead. Well, this is kind of like that, but instead of giving you a lower rent price, they just give you 2 months for free, and then it averages it down. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not paying the rent for 2 months straight and then they bring you back to the regular price, that's okay because you saved all that money. And we know that a lot of financially savvy people are doing this right now because literally the amount of renters who are earning $150,000 a year jumped by 82% between 2015 and 2020. So more and more people that earn a lot of money are just saying, you know what, it's not worth it to buy. I'm just gonna rent, save the extra money, take vacations, invest, and live the easy life. And I think it's smart to take advantage of this now because these deals are not going to last forever, guys. Eventually, they're going to rent out a lot of these units and the incentives will be gone. So taking advantage of it now while it exists is the smart thing to do. And I don't know if this is true, but according to the University of Cincinnati, they say that the stock market gains over the past 50 years have well outpaced home equity gains. Even though it's more volatile, you can't live in the stock market, you can live in a house. So there are pros and cons to using this extra money to invest rather than own a house, guys, because if you can invest enough money, you can actually accumulate more wealth in the long run investing in the stock market than you can by owning your home. And then in the end, you can decide to buy any home you want to later down the road if you decide that that's for you, or you just keep getting richer that way. So either way, it doesn't matter. You're building your net worth. The reason why home ownership has been touted as the best way to build net worth over the years is because it's a way of forced savings. You know, when you're making your house payment, it forces you to save that money that gets converted into equity over the years. As your house rises in value, you have to make a payment or you lose the house. Versus when you're investing in the stock market, like one of these renters, you have to make that proactive choice and open up a stock portfolio. You have to make those contributions regularly and without stopping in order to build up that wealth, which takes more of your own due diligence and persistence, and not using that money and just blowing it each month. So it takes more self-discipline to do it that way. And we just have to accept, if you're in the younger generation like I am, if you're in your 30s or younger right now, that things just are not the same or as easy as they were for our parents or our grandparents. They had the blessing of growing up in an economy that actually kept up with inflation, and you could actually get a good job, and you could actually just work one job and make enough money. But those days are gone, and you need to adapt. And what I think is the best thing to do when you're looking to adapt is to take the best opportunities that are available around you. And right now, renting and getting months free of rent seems to be a better deal than moving into a house and having nothing but repair bills every month on things you weren't unaware of and having buyer's remorse. So don't be that person. Don't fall into these traps. Make some smart financial decisions right now, guys, and further yourself ahead in life. You'll thank me in the end. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you don't want to wait for my next video to come out, check out this one on the screen right over here, and I'll see you in the next one.